All right, guys. I'm a little upset because I actually have a video that I want to play, but just so happened, like we always happen, when you have to present, something goes wrong. So I don't have a video to play right now, but we are going to talk about a little bit on 3x3. Adam, thanks for having me. It is my first time at this coaches clinic, so I'm really honored to be here. Been to Winnipeg a number of times. You guys got a great airport, by the way. The last time I was here, I was still kind of going through the old airport. It was very different when I first stepped out of the plane. So FIBA 3x3, let me just, by a show of hand, 3x3 has been around for a long time. In Winnipeg especially, you guys had the NBA 3x3 transition to the Toronto Raptors, Hoop It Up, Jam Session, all of that different, whatever name they want to call it over the number of years. How many of you guys have been involved either playing, administer, volunteer in any capacity with 3x3 basketball? That's a lot of you guys, right? So 3x3 has been around for a long time. What FIBA has done over the last couple of years is to resurrect 3x3. Now, 3x3 was very big in the early 2000s, I would say. Do you guys agree? I think it was around that 2000 to 2004 time where the Jam Session and all of the different 3x3 Hoop It Up events were really huge. In Winnipeg alone, I believe you guys were averaging roughly about 250 teams during that weekend of 3x3. So it was big. Then over the year, it started to kind of fizzle out a little bit. What FIBA has been trying to do is to really bring that whole 3x3 concept back into basketball again. And there are a number of prongs that I want to talk about. So today I'm going to go through three main things, what FIBA 3x3 means, the competition network, okay, as well as the digital side of FIBA is trying to do. So 3x3, it is the soul of basketball. Right? It is sort of the grassroots, on the pavement, fun basketball. You can do it on the driveway. You can do it in a gym. You can do it at a historical landmark. It can be played anywhere. There's one hoop. There's two teams. There are three players on each team, and there's no coaches. It's a free form of basketball. Okay. It is also the #1 urban team sport. Okay, so it's actually, the study has been done that 3x3 is actually it's not one of it is the most played sport in all of the world. There's 4 points I want to make. It is unique, it is accessible, it is popular, and it is fast and entertaining. So the sport itself, it's very fast paced. What FIBA has done with the 3x3 is they've sort of changed the rule set a little bit to make it, to favor more skill-based, to favor more fast-paced type of basketball. So that it's not really, you'd have your traditional 3x3 where you check at the top and, you have one big man, one pass, that type of stuff. It's fast-paced, Some of the rules that you guys have not been exposed to is sort of make it very much sort of, as soon as you score, the ball is live. You don't have to reset and set up at the top and all of that type of stuff. So there's a lot of rules that are kind of part of this whole FIBA movement that makes the game that much more faster. It's all about quick decision making, and it's just fun to watch. It is accessible. It could be played anywhere. I've talked a little bit about this earlier. It could be on the streets. It could be in a gym. It could be anywhere in your backyard. It is popular in the sense that it could be any age, any gender, it's any fitness condition. And last but not least, like I said before, it is fast and entertaining. The games are structured at 10 minutes, and it's or 21/7 death game. And then, like I said, the rules are very much based on what I've talked about earlier, is that it's really focused on pushing the speed of the game. So FIBA has introduced this new discipline. The idea of it is to really grow the game of basketball. The 5-on-5 game has been around forever. Now we're trying to transition. So think volleyball. Volleyball, traditional volleyball, 6 on each side. It was a great game, but then beach volleyball came along, right? And beach volleyball just blew up. It became one of the most watched Olympic sport there is, right? So what FIBA is trying to do is to really push on this whole second discipline where it's focused on fun, entertaining, grand scale type of event where you can get a lot of people involved. So and this is sort of their platform to do so. It is open, it's innovative, and I'm going to talk about the competition network in a little bit, just to kind of give you an idea of how it's run around the world, and then streamline it back to Canada, what we're doing on a domestic front. From the streets to the world stage, what we're really trying to do is anybody can start playing 3-on-3 basketball on the streets, right? And then somehow end up playing against Turkey, against Greece. You know, we're in traditional basketball, you have to be on a national team. You have to go through a lot of different trainings, all that stuff, to be able to graduate and play in an international level. With FIBA 3x3, there's a whole different stream that now if you play in a local tournament here in Winnipeg, you can, you can progress to a provincial championship and a national championship and finally the world stage, right? There's an event called the World Tour that is exactly what that is, okay? So we're starting off right at the bottom, we're the grassroots. What we're really trying to do is to get as many people playing 3-on-3 basketball domestically across Canada. We're trying to get different events going on. We're trying to get, locally within your own community to get as many 3-on-3 basketball events, okay, to take place. From there, what we want to transition into is what we call a provincial event, right? So you got the tour, which is the provincial event. Tours are set up across all the provinces. And this year alone, we had a provincial event in BC. We had a provincial event in Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, which was a big one, and then Quebec as well, right? What we really want to do is to get a provincial event set up in every single province, which I believe Manitoba is going to be next. And then from there, we're going to funnel into a national championship. From the national championship, then the top 3 teams will then qualify into what they call a catchment area, so your zone championship, right? So this year we had the champion from Alberta, we had a champion from Ontario, and a champion from Quebec that qualify into the World Tour event, which took place in Puerto Rico. Of the 3 teams, the team that qualified out of the Basketball Alberta event, which is actually a team from Saskatoon, came in second place. They lost in the finals, but they qualified for the Worlds. So that team actually ended up playing in the World Championship of the World Tour Final in Istanbul, right? So this is a case of how kids are now, playing basketball. They're not on a national team level. They're not, at any level per se. They're just recreational basketball players, but they're able to go from the streets all the way to the world stage, where they're playing the likes of Romania, Spain, Turkey, Argentina, Brazil, all of those teams, which was an amazing experience for a lot of these guys. So this is sort of the structure that FIBA has set up. There's obviously the national team level, but this is the prong that we really want to focus on, is to get basketball as big as possible at the grassroots level and then funnel them up from that point. So when we talk about 3-on-3, we picture a lot of the whole hoop it up thing, right? Like it's an urban festival, there's like your DJ, there's your dance performances, there's a dunk contest, shootout, all that type of stuff. You make it into a grand scale. Well, you guys don't have to do it like that. You guys can run an event in a small little community, be it 12 teams, 6 teams, 24 teams, or 88 teams, whatever it is. You can tailor it to how you guys want to run it and how it's suitable within your community, right? The idea is to grow the game of basketball, get as many people involved, right? What you'll find with a lot of 3-on-3, and my colleague Don Smythe, who's going to be talking about a bit about this tomorrow, about the development side of 3-on-3. I'm focusing on sort of the programming side, but she's going to talk about the development side. Is that 3-on-3 it doesn't favor the best athletes. It's a very skill-based, it's a very individual-based sport put in a team environment, right? You'll find that at the U18 level, the top teams that are playing around the world in the championship rounds are not your USA, are not your Spain. It's actually a team from Romania. It's 2 years ago, the finals were New Zealand versus I can't remember. I think it was some team from Asia or something. But it's like the smaller countries, right? So you'll find that the sport itself has sort of transitioned a little bit. So your traditional powerhouse does not necessarily mean that you are, good in 3x3 basketball. So the whole idea of it is to just get people involvement. So that was the competition side. That's sort of the big picture of what FIBA is doing. We in Canada, obviously, we're taking a lot of what their directions are and now funneling towards our provincial programmings, domestic programmings. So everything that we talked about at that world stage, we're now doing it in our own scale in each of the provinces, like I suggested, in each of the local communities, funneling up into a bigger national championship, and then from there we'll take those teams into the world championship. With all of this, there's a whole digital component which is very unique, it's very distinct to the entire sport. What FIBA has been trying to push is growing the game on one side, right? But then there's a digital component that really goes into the in-depth player rankings, that goes into the in-depth of event management, all of that type of stuff. So I'm going to go through some of the bigger picture of what they're trying to do. There are 3 platforms that FIBA has pushed out. Okay, there's the Event Maker, there's 3x3 Planet, and there's an app on mobile. Any of you guys heard or are familiar with any of this 3x3 Planet? Anybody heard of that? Event Maker? Yeah, I thought so. These are platforms that are created by FIBA that makes it easy for you guys to run your events. These are a platform that's created by FIBA that makes it able to capture all the data that is part of what 3x3 family is, right? In 1 year, they're able to get, over 500,000 names into the FIBA Planet, right? So these are registered 3x3 players around the world. I'll go through each one a little bit more carefully, but Event Maker is your big planning platform where you can, as an tournament organizer, you can go into Event Maker, basically create your event, publish your event, populate your schedule, go through the brackets, all of that type of stuff. It's a one-step process where you basically just punch in your information and you're set. They basically run the event for you. The Planet.com is sort of the big hub for what all 3x3 materials are. You basically, individually, players can register themselves on Planet.com and have their own profile. So think Facebook for 3x3. This is where players can individually set up the profile, go through, fill out all the player information, all that type of stuff, and each time you play a 3x3 game, either it's on your driveway, or at a provincial level tournament, or a community level event, okay? You can register yourself as part of the team playing in this tournament, and you capture a score to it. They tie a scoring system as part of that. So individually, each player will get a point system that allows you to know, okay, out of say, 200,000 3x3 players in Canada, I'm ranked number 22. So it's a very unique system that they've tried to build. And then from an event organizer perspective, it allows you to publish all the information online. So anytime I want to punch in, say, 3x3 tournament, Winnipeg, it will give me a full list of every 3x3 event that's on there. So that's sort of the whole idea behind it, is to get information online, is to get information accessible, and all of this stuff makes it that much easier. Now it's, they're tying in this whole social media side of things. All of this stuff is to make the game that much that much faster. And then there's an app. Every time I play a game, be it on my driveway or just now, if I want to play a game right now, at the end of the game, I just have to go to my app and just say, Team Ron 21-6. Punch that in, and then all of a sudden I get my score all taken care of, right? That gets published onto the Planet, and then anybody from home that wants to kind of follow you and know what, how you've been doing the 3x3, that gets published onto the internet. So it's kind of neat. We talked about the event maker. It's a management tournament registration system. Anybody that has a profile in your planet can now automatically get the information transferred into the event maker. So as a tournament organizer, all you had to do, instead of trying to record every single registration form, all you had to do is just let them know any players that play in this tournament, they just have to register themselves on the planet. As soon as they done that, all you have to say is, okay, team Bisons. You punch in the 4 names. Every information you can imagine gets populated onto the event maker. Then you have the profile set up, and then you're good to go. So it makes the whole process a lot faster. It's fully digital. It goes through the whole automated competition planning, scheduling, everything from displaying the event to just the whole entire spectrum of what you can do with this platform. The players collect points. Like I said, the players can track the performance, and also players can access a worldwide database of different events across the world. So this is what the Planet page looks like. You can create a profile. You can create an event. Okay. So the top corner, this would be what a player profile look like. You have a player on top. It gives you all the information about the player. Then it'll give you a list of all the tournaments that they participated in, all the scores of the games that they played in. So it gives you a full breakdown of what this player has done in 3x3 wise. And then you have at the bottom, you got the event setup. So if you guys are running an event, say in Swan Valley, you can populate that information on there, and boom, it's across the world. Anybody that searches information about 3x3 can be populated up there. This talks about a little bit on the collecting points part of it. Okay, and finally, this is sort of information is out there. There's a lot of information on 3x3. What we really want to focus on is just get events up, grow the game, play 3x3, get people excited about the game. Like I said again, we're doing it. We've done it at a Hoop It Up level where it's nice and big. It's a community festival. It's a big urban festival. We're now trying to bring it from not only just from a big sort of festival point of view, but into communities. Just small community events, set them up, right? Get kids involved. There's a lot of benefits as part of 3x3. If you think about it, kids on average gets more touches in a 3x3 game versus 5x5. Right? That's a huge benefit for young kids under the age of 10 years old, right? Whereas in 5-on-5, you can hide yourself. They're not so dominant. Kids can kind of hide themselves. The stronger kids usually kind of, you have that 1 or 2 LeBron-like kid who just takes over the game. You cannot do that in 3x3, right? So you really want to stress on the whole development aspect of it. There's more touches. So I don't know the specific stats, but it's around 2.3 touches. Okay, every kid playing 3x3 generally gets 2.3 more touches than a kid playing 5-on-5. So that's sort of the stats that kind of went behind that. There's more spacing, allowing the kids to try different things, right? Sometimes in 5-on-5 game you get crowded. In a 3x3 game, there's more spacing. There's more straight up one-on-one. There is no zone defense, right? It's a one-on-one game. It's very individual based. It's very kind of skill based, right? And what we're trying to do is push on the whole skill development aspect, right? For the young kids, take away the strategies, take away the tactics. Let's focus on the whole development and skill building aspect of it. So that is why we're pushing the whole 3x3 movements. More resources are available. FIBA.com. That's 3x3, 3x3planet.com. There's YouTube channel set up, Twitter channel set up, Facebook channel set up, and then 3x3 World Tour website as well. I have also created a hosting manual that is available to anybody that's interested in running a 3x3. It's a step-by-step sort of blueprint. It's about 20 pages that goes to how to run a 3x3 tournament, how to market it, how to promote it, how to do registration, to how to do all of the digital aspect of it, to setting up your event maker, to having your players setting up your planet profile, all of that. So if anybody's interested, you can contact me. I can email you the digital copy of it, and then you guys can kind of follow that and run your 3x3 tournaments on your own as well. So that kind of wraps it up. Any questions about 3x3, what FIBA is doing, what Canada Basketball is doing, what the whole big picture and all of that is? That was easy. No questions? All right. Thank you.